the top position, representing the dragon in Alpha X, he is RAGNAROK. And his opponent down here in the bottom, not aware that a drone is coming across the map. He is ZEST for Raise Your Edge Gaming. The mind games here. Basically what RAGNAROK has done is he's made it look like he's going straight for the third base like you would normally see. And from here, we're going to be seeing him throw down that that second hatchery just right outside of ZEST's point of view. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely mind gamey. Barely doesn't see it. Okay, and he's gonna have a ton of lings to back this up, so he won't really be able to break the wall super efficiently. I don't think this really allows him to go for banelings either. So this has to do damage, like, quick. And actually, he's doing a fantastic job of it so far. Gonna be preventing the wall off. We're gonna force out one of those stalkers, but yeah, already RAGNAROK is doing a fantastic job kind of just hiding this, but now ZEST has full wind of it, so he instantly throws down that forge in the back, so he wants to get some of those. He wants to get some of those Cannerinos to help deal with this, but a couple of Spine Crawlers going to be in the back as well. Now, there's a lot that you can do with this as RAGNAROK. It's going to be a little bit tricky to get past that shield battery, but the addition of the Spine Crawlers is really just going to help out a lot. You're pretty much all in with this. There is no macroing up behind it. There's no kind of droning out of this, because the second you stop this aggression is when you essentially die, because there's going to be a heavy gateway army in the back to help fight. Losing one of those Spine Crawlers really early on. He pops the shield battery, and that's going to be more than enough to kind of clean up these spines in the front. A couple more going to be built, but RAGNAROK realizes it is done and donezo. He is going to tap out of game number 1, and ZEST takes a very quick game number 1 victory. That probably went better in his head, but a 4-minute game. I will never complain about a 4-minute game. I think my favorite, like, 5-minute game, though, was a Neeb versus Time game where there was just rested on one huge Widowmine shot that really killed him very, very quickly. But I digress on that one. Looks like we're going to be heading into game number 2 on Jaganantha. That's an interesting choice. I think that's actually RAGNAROK's choice as well. So are we going to be seeing him be a little bit more aggressive, kind of take advantage of the fact that the map is a little bit bigger? We'll have to see. Oh, sorry about that. I thought I was muted. But who's not muted is these guys in the bottom position here. Spawning in for Alpha X, he is RAGNAROK. And his opponent in the top for Outrager Edge Gaming, he is ZEST. Okay, so this time it is going to be a more standard opening here from Ragnarok, just going straight for the third base to prevent the probe from blocking him. I mean, from here we should not really be seeing too craziness. You never get to do two crazy things in a row versus Protoss, just because it's not really beholden to that style. You see the Gateway Nexus. Should be seeing the Cybernetics Core kind of help finish off that wall a little bit. Yeah, all is right with the world right now. You know, though, it might seem like a small thing, but I have noticed that ZEST tends to essentially kind of skip that first Zealot, to go straight for the Adept or the Stalkers. So the wall, so you know, if you're quick, you can actually get a 12 pool in and get a little bit of work done. That's just one of the things that I've noticed about this series so far. There's only been one game. But ZEST will be going for Stargate. Now, ZEST has been trying to... he's been trying to make Void Rays work in this matchup for a little bit of time now. I don't think this is going to be it, though. I think this is just going to be standard Oracle into Phoenix. We might even just skip the Oracle, go straight for Phoenix. But, you know, this will allow him to kind of have that map presence early on. Get a little bit of damage done, and from there kind of just be a nuisance on the map. And you really do need to be a nuisance against the Zerg player, kind of force out early game units so that they're not making an economy. That Adept die? No, he never sent it out. Not gonna lose the Oracle, but that was a pretty nice start to the damage. 3 workers going down. Behind it, we are going to be seeing a Adept Glaive build as well. Now, keep in mind that he doesn't have a robo facility up, so there's not going to be really any quick reinforcements to this. But still, the addition of the Adept Glaive is going to be pretty nice, I feel. Just kind of keep the punches rolling and keep Ragnarok off his toes. Still going to be diving around with that Oracle as well, looking to get a little bit more damage. If you can get a time warp, that would be pretty nice. All of today's rogue matches are hard to predict. Yeah, that is pretty true. We're kind of at that stage in the tournament where even if there is a favorite, it's really hard to say who's going to bring it out because they're just going to be really action-packed. I can feel that in my bones. But, you know, Ragnarok has gotten wind of this. The Adept Glaives... now he just needs to back on at home. He only has links to defend for right now, so he has to prevent those Adepts from getting in between the mineral line. kind of just from getting into that good position. Trying to fight with the queens in the front, but one of them will fall very quickly. ZEST just getting done what he needs to get done. The Lings weren't in position to help out either. So 3 queens going down, and while the Adepts may die here, actually, you know what? The heck with it. That wasn't the best damage. ZEST losing all of those. ZEST losing all of those Adepts, not the best. And the Oracle going down, so a little bit sloppy. But I don't think RAGNAROK will be able to kind of capitalize on that. Although he is going to be going for Mutas to kind of take advantage of the largeness of this map. Okay. So yeah, the big thing with this is you do need to hide. Just hide the Mutas for a little bit. Bank them up. Because the second that those are spotted, in fact, I think the Spire might have already been seen. Okay, it hasn't. But the second they're seen, you can just go straight into Phoenix production because you already have the tech for it. So it's really important to kind of bank up, and as I say that, never mind. ZEST is always the best, but he doesn't always get the best damage. So the Muta's going to be flying in as we have a small push out for ZEST. Looks like the Mutas are going to be deflected as well. Now there is a lot of force field energy with this, so it's very possible for ZEST to kind of close up these choke points really efficiently. But you know, he's actually not being very aggressive with it, I gotta say. He really just feels like RAGNAROK has enough to defend, so he's giving a lot of credit to him right now. Bergen's going to go for a bit of a surround here. The Biles actually on top of all of those sentries. So amazing connections right there, and it looks like the Zerg is going to be able to clean up the rest of this. And now RAGNAROK, up over 70 supply, is going to get the tap out. That is how quickly this game can change. It looked super even there for a little bit, and that engagement looked like it could do quite a bit of work. But at the end of the day, the Swarm is a little bit too much. You know, ZEST is still a really good player. I wouldn't really call him a joke. He does have some pretty crazy strategies that he does like to try and do, though. Honestly, you know, a lot of the time, I've seen a lot of players actually underperform expectations recently. I've been seeing a lot of players kind of go into a bit of a slump. Like, I don't know if it's just the fact that all the tournaments are online now, so there's a bit of a situation with ping, with time zones, stuff like that. But yeah, I've seen a lot of Korean players not really go up to their full potential in the past like 6 or 7 months. But that's neither here nor there, as we have a tie game up here in the top position. He is Alpha X's RAGNAROK. And his opponent down in the bottom for Razor Edge Gaming, he is ZEST. Now, Beyond's got the looks. For the YouTube VOD, we're talking about which player is the most handsome. But hey, I mean, I think we can all agree. Nobody has yet been able to beat the chin toss in dashing good looks. You know, Ragnarok, he's going for the pretty standard stuff. He's got that hatch down, the spawning pool as well. We do see ZEST going for the pretty standard gateway nexus. Nothing too crazy. I mean, you don't really expect that. Yeah, classic. He was known as the chin toss sometimes. You know, I think with a lot of the players going to their military service, there's a good potential in like 2022, 2023. While the game might be in maintenance mode, we might be getting into the last bits of the ESL Pro Tour. I don't know what their future plans for that are, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have the living legends all kind of return. I'm curious though. Did Jaedong actually go to his military service yet? Is he still in it? Because I know Flash just had to go. So I'm kind of interested in all these Brood War players as well. You know what? They just need to. They need to build a Expendables, exactly like you just said. I would totally fund that project if I had any money. But anyway, we do see off the back of this, that's going to be going for that Void Ray, which will allow him to kind of clear up the Overlords around him, kind of keep the vision of Ragnarok down. I really hope he doesn't overextend with that. Like, I really don't want to see him go up to the additional Stargates, because the thing is, with that Void Ray build, it's just so susceptible to going up to Lair Tech, getting that Hive down, or getting the Hydralisk Den, and really just easy to kind of pick off. And unfortunately, it's looking like that's what it is. So really, Ragnarok just needs to get a vision of this. He needs to see what's up. Once he sees this, then he pretty much knows that he just needs to go straight up to Hive Tech, or Lair Tech rather. Toss down that Baneley Nest and might actually try and close things out. Has Inno confirmed that he's not coming back? That's a shame. Okay, I love this. Like, this is perfect. So basically what RAGNAROK is doing right now is he's just going to go straight in for the kill with a Nidus Swarm. There's a very big position where you can't see anything. So he just needs to get an Overlord into position. He does not have speed, it looks like. But if he can get those queens in, maybe drop down a couple of Spore Crawlers as well, that's where this is going to do quite a bit of work. And actually, he's just going to reveal it in the front. Okay, so he's pretty much just using the Nidus Swarm, it looks like, to get the queens into position, spread that creep a little bit further forward. Ling's doing a bit of work, but they're not really getting on top of the mineral lines. They're not really killing off any probes. So he has to be careful not to expend too many of those. Super tired of all this stuff. Yeah, that's understandable. This is one of those things where it can be a little bit difficult to kind of get into the mood, into the fighting spirit, especially when you're having a hard time. But the Queens, though, are having a pretty hard time dealing with the overcharged Void Rays, the Banelings in the bottom. Going to take down the Zealots, but yeah, as the shield battery starts to go down, RAGNAROK going to just tap on out. So unfortunately, he just didn't really have a lot of firepower there. I think he should have just kind of held off to get Hydralisks. That's really the best way to deal with it. Because, or you know what? Even Mutalisks. I'd say Mutalisks are a pretty good choice as well. But the problem is you can just switch straight into 3 Stargate Phoenix production. And that's why that's not as good as the Hydras on the bottom. Owie, yeah, Sunloy, that is the best way to put it. Okay, I want to get in on this casting fire. I want to be a wizard too. Do I have any more points? I'm out of mana. So if I type in W, is that going to be doing the spell? Not sure. All right, so we're just waiting on into the Inu right now, just making sure the players are the right race, and we're going to be hopping into Lightshade for map number 4. Yeah, you know, I do want to see a Protoss win. If it's going to be a Protoss win, though, I want to see Zaun take the cake, and I'm not just saying that because I'm repping the Alpha X these days. By the way, if you want some cool Alpha X merch, there actually is a sale going on for the Sector 6 apparel. It's 35% off over the weekend, and then 50% off on Monday. So if you use the code BLACKOUT for today, then that's going to give you that 35% off. And then on Monday, use code CM CM2020. And that will get you that 50% off. So yeah, that's pretty cool. If you want to check it out, support the team, get some cool merch. But anyway, speaking of cool merch, up here in the top, he's one of our coolest merchandises. Spawning in the top is Alpha X's RAGNAROK. And in the top position, he is instead a snack. Spawning in for Razor Edge Gaming, he is ZEST. Alright, so again, nothing really too much else to say here. Both these players are just going to be powering up for a bit. We see ZEST has been kind of favoring that Stargate opening, yet we haven't really seen him go for, go for that Twilight build too much. It's always been off the back of his Stargate play. So yeah, pretty much just going to be chilling out here for the next couple of minutes while we get things underway. And I do agree, Trap is one of those players. Like, he came out of nowhere, honestly, in my mind. He was just really good in his debut. And you know, he's Trap is kind of known as the guy who has been holding down the fort as Protoss have been struggling a little bit in a lot of different matchups. So he's kind of been known as the one to kind of hold the line for Ire, even though Stats is still kind of considered the shield of Ire. So once again, Stargate's on the way. Pretty standard here for ZEST at this point. Hey, there is a Chad Ray. Once again, gonna be coming on down, so that's going to deny a lot of vision here for RAGNAROK. Has he seen it? He still hasn't seen the Stargate. I kind of argue seeing the first Stargate isn't the big tell here. I think it's seeing that second and third one where you really have to start worrying as RAGNAROK, because you don't want to be caught off guard here. Doesn't look like he's committing too heavily to this, however. We don't see that +1 attack coming down. And again, we don't see that second or third Stargate coming on in. And as I say that, there you go. So once again, ZEST is just going to be going balls to the wall here, try and get up to match point. I don't want to say quickly, I want to say that the way he's going to do this is just kind of slow build up, because you can't really engage with a low amount of Void Rays here. RAGNAROK did have a good decision making in that last game, but he just didn't have enough firepower to deal with it. So I feel like if he needs to get wind of this like a lot sooner. And okay, there you go. He's going up to Lair Tech. It's almost done. Bailing Nest as well. If he can, I mean, he can really break down this wall like soon, all things considered. And I think that's going to be the best option, is just trying to win before that Void Ray count becomes too big, because I don't know. It's really hard to say, really. Although I do like the Hydra Sten. He's kind of following standard protocol now. Excuse me. Alright, the Oracle going to be getting a little bit more drone damage. As the Ling's going to be looking for a small bit of an opening. They're not really going to be finding too much. Yeah, from here it's just a slow build-up. Like, you can't really rush things either as ZEST or Ragnarok, because if you take a bad engagement, you're really just going to fall super far behind. And yeah, I mean, these Lings kind of dancing around is nice because it keeps the Void Rays back on the defense, but they're not really being utilized. They're not useful at all right now. Revelation going to go down, going to make sure that he keeps a good eye on these Hydralisks. They don't have the speed just yet, and they're not in big enough numbers in order to fight this. The Queen's, though, going to get some good damage done on the Void Rays, which are going straight for the main base. Now, finally, the Banelings are able to get some good connections. They clean up the third. Void Rays, you know, they're still kind of dancing around, but they can't really get anywhere now. This is kind of the problem with them. He's invested so heavily that it's going to be hard to kind of transition out of this as that Hydralisk count starts to grow bigger and bigger. Void Ray Printer does go brrr. Now he's going to be going for Flux Banes behind this. Not too bad there. A couple of Banelings did try and get in once again. He's kind of just inching them in one at a time. Now Speedy Rays. Gonna be dumping around. And I mean, you know, it's equal a base count right now. It's going to be more difficult to deal with them, because, you know, these bases are so far spread apart that it's just going to be a struggle to kind of rotate around here. But here we go, one big Void Ray fight once again. The Hydralisk just absolutely tearing through here. Now you have invested way too much in this. You need to kind of transition into Storm, into like those Archons. You just need something other than Void Rays right now to help out. Adepts, no. Not with this. ZEST does get a kill on this base in the top. A lot of those drones do go down, but there's a lot of Banelings with this. Here we go. Not necessarily a base race just yet, as there is recall still available, but he's going to get straight in on that third, get the kill on that, as the Hydralisks do the same. Over 21 workers going down. I mean, the Queens are holding the line. They are slowing down the Void Rays, even though they're not really getting the kills that they need. If you can really just kind of power up in the back, get those Hydralisks in, then you should be able to defend. But now, there's not going to be any more Void Rays. At this point, you can't even recall. That's a Tempest upgrade. I don't know why he's upgrading that. And look at that. The Void Rays are going to have to come home and try and defend, but already he's lost all his bases. I think we are going to see the tap out here from ZEST. relatively soon as the swarm, once again, just too overwhelming. And this is why you don't go Void Rays, ladies and gentlemen. If ZEST can't make it work, I don't think us ladder heroes can either. Look at that, 498 APM. He was going absolutely hammed for the till the very last second. That is incredible. I gotta say, I love Ragnarok's. I love Ragnarok. He's a really interesting player to watch because he can be super aggressive. He can be really annoying to deal with, especially in that early to mid game. He's just really good. And I'm really excited to see him kind of move forward with his career. Looks like we are waiting for a Mr. Zaun or Zest to agree to join the lobby. And you know, very even series. Just like neither side really showing that they are all that, because it's been one side. There's been a couple one-sided games, but both sides have had those one-sided games, so they've kind of canceled each other out. That does mean we're going to be going into game number 5 onto Pillars of Gold. We are moving right along. I think this series hasn't even lasted longer than... it's not even been an hour yet, I don't think. Yeah, when you're going up against a player like this guy in the bottom position, spawning in for Alpha X, he is RAGNAROK. And his opponent in the top for Raise Your Edge Gaming, he is ZEST. All right, so the question is, it's in Ragnarok's wheelhouse right now, as he has that kind of forward momentum going on in this series. The question is, what is Zest going to be doing? I think he's going to have to be the one who's a little bit more reactionary. He hasn't yet. He hasn't yet really shown what he's going to do. Obviously, we do have... you know, we got a couple of minutes before it goes up. Yeah, we should be seeing a little bit more of a standardization once again. We got that first adept coming down. It's more than likely going to be Stargate. I am a wizard. But yeah. So Stargate into adept. We could see him go for that adept glaive build once again. That'd be a pretty cool thing to see, especially on a map like this where it's a little bit easier for those adepts to get across, so you don't have to spend a ton going for the Warp Prism. But, yeah, overall, pretty excited to see where this game goes. All right, look at that. 3 times the charm here for the Void Rays. They're going to be going straight into that. So, question is, will Ragnarok get a vision of it? We have seen that he hasn't really been kind of sending those OVs in to get the message that he needs. Really just having trouble kind of getting that scouting. Now behind this, that's going to be going up to a very fast third base. Link's going to try and get the scout around, but once again, now that he sees this, when will he drop down the lair? That's kind of the big question here, because that's really what you need to do. The first time you see the Void Ray, drop down the lair. It doesn't matter if he's making more or not, because you're not really going to slow down your economy, and it's really important that you're ready, just in case he is going for this cheeky Void Ray build. And yeah, it is going to be Void Rays for the 3rd time. I guess ZEST not really dialing it in, but he has kind of decided that this is the way that he wants to go. He wants to practice this style, probably for later on if he decides to use it in like GSL or any other the big tournaments that are coming up. I mean, right now he has gotten some decent damage done. He's got 5 additional worker kills, so he's even on the worker count, and he's even on bases. So, you know, he's in a pretty good spot to make this work. Gotta say though, I'm just not a fan of Void Ray builds. Like versus Terran, maybe in the early game. Versus Protoss, okay, yeah, unless they kind of follow suit for suit. But versus Zerg, you're never gonna have more than the Zerg player. All right, it looks like he's going to go back to his first choice there, going into the Nidus Worm. This time, though, he will have a lot of Hydralisks to help deal with this. And, I mean, with the addition of those Hydralisks, this becomes way more palatable than it did in that last game where he tried it. And, I mean, Void Ray's still kind of dancing around. The Ling's going to help out a bit just by being a distraction. But he's going to have to get the Nidus down, which is the big kind of thing. We do see the Void Rays just really staying on that move control patrol path, making sure that they have full vision, just in case Nidus is on the cards. So where is he essentially going to throw it down? Probably just going to have to do it with the army. That's a lot of queens hanging out in that Nidus already. One decent snipe on that Void Ray. No, not going to get it. But there is a shield battery, so that's going to give him a little bit more room. But he can just start to spread this creep. And yeah, this is really scary for ZEST right now. Although he will get a cancel on that first Nidus Worm. Might want to throw down a second one there as you push your way forward. Transfuse is going to keep those Hydralisks alive for a little bit longer. And, you know, here you go. You're now under siege. Adept's doing what they can in the back, but there's just way too much there. He's going to have to fight underneath that shield battery, which is now depleted. I mean, not really a lot of focus fire here, but still, it doesn't even really matter as he's on top of the Stargates. He's making sure that no more additional Void Rays come out on the back of this. We do see a small Zealot run by here, going to do quite a bit of drone work. But the question is, does RAGNAROK have enough to kind of close this out? Just kind of funneling it in. A much more aggressive Nidus Worm. That's all the production. That's all the production gone. There's not really too much else to say here. The Hydra's just in overwhelming numbers. The probe's gonna have to be pulled in the front as well, but good focus fire on the Void Rays is enough to kind of clean this up. Gonna fight under the supercharge there, but really RAGNAROK doesn't even really need to do too much else. He can kind of just fight on this third base location if he wants to kill that off. Now, he does have charge. Does Zest. But, again, there's just not enough. There's just not enough. He's never really going to be able to take a good engagement here, even though he picks off 1 or 2 Hydrosks here and there. It really just comes down to a little battle of attrition. How long can he keep the Void Rays alive? How long can these Zealots in the front handle themselves? Can he get the Templar Archive up? Because Archons are really his only strategy here. Excuse me. Yeah, there you go. Really just kind of attrition warfare there as RAGNAROK goes up to match point. We're going to be heading into game number 6. Sorry, I just need to stretch. It is really early here. But it's never too early for StarCraft 2. I apologize. Hope you guys are enjoying the series, though. This has been a bunch of amazing games. Just overall, I've really been liking I've really been liking it. It's been interesting to see these different choices come out from these players, just from the fact that we haven't really seen that kind of cookie cutter long macro games. We've seen a lot of aggression. We've seen a lot of proxies. And heck, we've just seen a lot of players go down to stuff that they really shouldn't have either. I'd imagine. But, you know what, that doesn't matter right now because we are in game number 6. As let me get this set up. So, he's up. He's on match point, and he's looking to clean house. Spawning up here in the top for Alpha X, he is RAGNAROK. And he's going to RAGNAROK and roll versus this guy down here. He's going to raise the edge on your gaming. For Raise Your Edge Gaming, he is Zest. Kind of an interesting name, Raise Your Edge. Like, when I think of it, it kind of sounds like edginess, like a teenager, but I digress on that one. Now you know what? We have a lot of different prides of Alpha X these days, with Zaun being the youngest player in GSL currently, and RAGNAROK just absolutely tearing things up, not just in the in-house events, but in these premier tournaments. A lot of good plays coming down from the pro team. I'm really impressed. It's kind of one of the decisions why I decided to join up. Ah, like raise your sword. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I'm not ragging on him. Obviously, they must be a pretty good team if they can pick up players like ZEST. I'd have to take a look at the rest of their lineup. But right now, not too much going to be happening here. You know, standard stuff. You know, I kind of would like to see RAGNAROK kind of be a little bit more aggressive, kind of prevent his opponent from going up to that Stargate play, the 3 Stargate Void Ray. But really, this is gonna, you know, he's gonna power up. He's gonna do his usual. Now, here we go. Does the Void Ray pop first? He's banking up the minerals for it. He's got the 250, 100. There you go. For the 4th time. So that's going to try and make it work. And it's just, it doesn't. For all you aspiring Protoss players out there, kind of don't take ZEST's lead unless you're in kind of a lower league. Because it's not bad. Void Rays aren't terrible, but they're just really cost inefficient against the layer tech of a Zerg player. Like, you really need to go up quickly, and you really do need to you really need to kill them quick with it, or you really need that very fast transition. So go up to like 6 or 7 Void Rays and then get out of it. Go into Archon charge. Just something like that. But you gotta do something. Just anything other than stay completely on those Void Rays. Hero Ling, you will be missed for about 20 to 30 seconds. All right, here we go. The double Stargate has been dropped. The Void Ray production will start up soon. Lair Tech is on the way, and we should be seeing the Hydralisks plus the Nidus would be the best choice here. Now, keep in mind, this is ZEST's last chance. If he loses this game, he's done. So, I mean, he might be. I don't want to say. I never want to say a player has kind of just dialed in a performance. But it kind of seems like ZEST is really just gonna kind of practicing this build choice of his. Now, to his credit, he is going up to that Twilight Council a little bit quicker, so he's gonna be able to get that Templar Archives in. And plus, he's also got the Robo facility on the way, so he's not sticking directly on the Void Rays, which I can appreciate that. He's transitioning a little bit faster. He's got the additional gateways down, so he's not going to be caught too off guard. So what I would like RAGNAROK to do is kind of recognize this and maybe go up to Lurker Tech. I think that'd be pretty good. He's also doing what he can, kind of just keep the Void Rays back at home. The Ling's actually going to be able to get a little bit of damage done, a little bit of poking. But look at this, Storm, War Prism. I'm actually really liking this from ZEST. Alright, so he's got plenty of high Templars here. Storm's about to complete. And really, what does Ragnarok do from here? He's going to be caught a little bit off guard, although, look at this. 3 Spore Crawlers and a Queen's. He is so scared of that Warp. Like, not scared, but he is really cautious about the Warp Prism in the main base. Now from here, it's kind of just power up time. Couple of small little run-bys here and there, and you know, Ragnarok is being very cautious. He's staying on the edge of that creep. Nothing really too much else to say. We've got the carriers, which are nice, but you could really just transition into Spire a little bit easier here. As Ragnarok, who's almost completely maxed out. And yeah, here we go. Okay, so he's seen the carrier count here as he opens up the rock there. That's going to give him a lot more room to breathe. Huge storms. You got to be careful. You don't want to lose those banelings prematurely, but already he has dropped a ton of supply into those. Unfortunately, though, there is still quite a bit here. The Zerg swarm starting to overlap. He does need to focus fire down some of those carriers. He's starting to get cleaned up, but still, he's able to kind of reinforce as his creep is super far forward. 13 more Hydralisks on the production tab, but ZEST is going to try and pull the trigger and gets a little bit of damage done before that happens. Now keep in mind, he didn't lose any of these carriers. And we do see that Spire production going to be coming down here. That's really the move that you need. Cancel on the 4th. Nice, nice, nice. Just trying to keep himself a little bit more room. And I mean, from here, I guess Ragnarok just kind of stays back while he builds up this army once again. He's got a ton of Hydralisks, though, I gotta say. Only 1 storm, or about 3 storms available there. Okay, so Zest just kind of building up. He's got that small run by, which is going to get caught. Here we go. This isn't going to make it through. We'll get some damage done on there, but here we go. Once again, the Storm blanketing the Banelings so they're not able to get the connections that they need. The Archon's soaking up a lot of them as well. Interceptor going to be pushing the Hydras back as well as... hope you check the forecast because it's summer in Florida. Although the Interceptor count is starting to falter, there's just not enough Hydras to kind of clean it up. And Ragnarok is going to tap out, so we are going to the very last game, game number 7, to close things out. I gotta say, with these ITaX events, they seem to go into the last couple of games very, very often, which I really enjoy. Like, it shows that they're pretty good at choosing the right player to keep things equal. Sorry, I gotta check something here. I've been testing out a new service, and I was just making sure that it worked. Yeah, they're rare and little used unit known as the Void Ray. That is a pretty good opportunity. There's a pretty good chance we're going to see that. But you know what? There's one thing I know we're going to see for certain, and that's this guy in the top representing Alpha X on Submarine. He is Ragnarok. And his opponent down here in the bottom for Raise Your Edge Gaming, which we found out is a sword. He is ZEST. And already Ragnarok's gearing up to be a little bit more aggressive in this one. He's got that early spawning pool. And, oh. Looks like ZEST did get a pretty good scout off this. He sees that the third base isn't down. Or the natural, rather. So he's just going to go in here and kind of get a confirmation. And he sees the spawning pool. But now he's got to see that this was a little bit of a feint here from Ragnarok, as he will be getting that second hatchery down. And I mean, still, this has the potential to kind of be a bit of a nuisance, as those things are going to be able to hop across the map and maybe get a couple of cheeky probe kills. Mostly just going to be there to kind of keep the mining off for Ragnarok. These do get in, but there's only really 3 of them, so you know they're gonna poke and prod, but they're gonna pull a couple probes off, but that's not really gonna be too much here. Good micro. Gonna save a good majority of these probes, and the Adept will be able to clean up what's left. So really, these are just kind of, you know, be a little bit of a nuisance. Stargate is out. Alright, so with the Stargate, will it be Void Ray once again? It looks like he did get confirmation that this is Stargate, so you know, he can go up faster there. Just kinda, you know, be himself. Be aggressive. Drawn up really heavily as well, because it does take a bit of time in order to kind of build up that Void Ray count. So you're not really pressed too aggressively early on. So you can really just get that drone count nice and high. Maybe a little bit more aggressive with it this time, though. Goes straight for the drone line. A couple of drones going to be going down. Only 2, though. So not the best damage as he goes up to his third base, but I like this. I actually do like this, even though it doesn't seem like I would like this. Really, your best option here is to just crush your opponent before that Void Ray count gets too big. And Roach Ravager is the way to do that quickly. Alright, here we go. Ragnarok as the March of the Queens. They want to speak to your manager. They are tired of all this Void Ray shenaniganry. And the Ravagers are going to be able to keep a lot of that ground army back. But there actually isn't any army on the ground. Straight on top of the shield batteries. He wants to get those picked off as quickly as possible. And I mean, there's just a little bit too much Zerg here. The Void Ray's not really able to chew through the Roaches as quickly as they would like. The Queen's going to be able to force them back into a more defensive position. A couple of good files as well. Just going to clean up as many of them as he possibly can. And ZEST on the retreat has to sacrifice this low ground position if he wants to stay alive right now. But this is all in from Ragnarok. This is incredible. He's getting the bile connections that he needs big time. As they're still trying to desperately hold on here. He's got some more shield batteries on the way, but you know, I don't think Ragnarok wants to wait any longer. He's gonna get straight on top of everything. The Link's gonna be poking and prodding the front, but the wall has been breached. And I mean, he's playing it a little bit passive. He's not really overextending into the base. And behind us, we do see that we do see the Hydro stand behind it. But at what cost here? So ZEST is able to clean up right now. That's not super important as there's still plenty of queens back at home for the defense, and you know, 10 more hydros on the way. There's no transition because he doesn't have his third base up. And yeah, I still think ZEST is pretty dead in this situation. Unless he can get that transition going, then I just don't think he's really going to be able to keep the Void Ray count high enough to get sustained damage in. Little pokes here and there. These guys don't have speed. I do think they do have range, though. They do. So they're going to be able to push those Void Rays back. Still no Twilight Council. So it is just going to be that Robo facility on the ground. Then, I mean, ZEST has restabilized himself. At least he stopped the Void Ray production. Yes, that is very true. You know, that Hydros count very scary right now. Taking a look at the Unisab, over 33. That's 3 to 1. If I do my math right. Got a couple sentries back here, but the Hydros actually do outrange the force fields as well. And yeah, here we go. Once again, Ragnarok just going to be looking to close things out. He's up over 40 supply right now. The force field's not going to be enough to keep this out. The shield battery has been popped. But I mean, what can the Void Rays really do against overwhelming firepower? They have shot their shot, and the Nexus is going to go down. Colossus is a good call behind this, but is he really going to get up the numbers that he needs in time? Is the big question here, as the Hydra's going to be killing off the third base once again. ZEST is still on 121 supply, and he is completely supply blocked. Going to try and take a new third location, just trying to hold on here, but I don't like to call a game before it's done, but this one is looking pretty well done. Stick a fork in it. Although Ragnarok going to give him a lot of space. I think that's just way too much respect here. Because honestly, you could dive on top of this, kill off the Colossus, get a lot of those Void Rays, and it'd still be a GG. But he's just going to bide his time, get up that Lurker Den, go straight up to Hive, and try again. You know, the longer this goes on, the better better position that ZEST gets into. He's not looking fantastic right now, but I mean, give that a couple of minutes. Give him Storm, give him Archons, and that's going to change immensely here. There we go. Lurkers are on the way. But the thing is, you're gonna have to push with those like soon. we go. Storm on the way. He's got plenty of High Templar. Oh, man. Ragnarok is just playing this all wrong right now, I feel. Because he's only just now got his 5th base up. It's not really mining either, so he's on equal. He's essentially on equal bases with his opponent. And he's going for the passive win. He's got the Spore Crawlers up. He's not going to really push too heavily with that. He's going to have to do something here, and unfortunately, it's going to be a couple of minutes before he decides to do so. He's going to wait for the upgrades. I do agree. He should have just kind of jumped on top of the Colossus. They didn't have thermal lands for the longest time, and they're just really easy to take out with the number of Hydros that you had. Then it would just be pure Void Rays, and then you can just pump those Hydros out and crush that. But now we're going into carrier play. Some big storms coming down over on all of those lurkers. They're trying to burrow. They do have their range upgrade, which is pretty darn nice, but now the Hydra's going to take not the best fight here because Storm can blanket this army. Trying to bait out some of those storms with the Hydralisks. We do see Zest going to be going for a small little run by here with a couple of Zealots as well. But, you know, both players completely maxed out right now. It's down to who can take the better fight, like right here, right now. As Ragnarok just slowly pushing his way forward, taking a few big storms here, losing that lurker count a little bit. But gonna get the Parasitic Bomb on the Oracle. That is going to just barely not die. Once again, he's going to retreat. I feel like at this point, you should be trading. Like, there's no real need to stay on maxed out supply and not push in, get some damage done. You're just giving Zest all the time in the world. And I mean, you're sniping the base, which is nice, but you're not really getting anything past that, so. You know, if Ragnarok loses this game, I'm gonna actually be pretty sad because he really had all the advantages.
Game paused. Game resumed.
Alright, a little bit of a pause there, not that big a deal. Feedback's gonna take down all of those Vipers. They're not gonna be able to get some shots off. Only one Parasitic Bomb going down. And Zest can really just rotate around here. This is a pretty scary army that he has. Upgrades coming on down, DT Shrine as well. Looks like Ragnarok's just trying to open up some supply here. But again, why he waited is... I just don't know. Not going to be able to save this base. Not going to be able to get any yoinks on the Colossus either. Trying to respread that creep, but the Lurker's not in position. The Hydra's not in position. mean, he still does have a healthy Viper count, and he has stopped the Revelations for right now, but 2 more Oracles on the way, so... I mean, vision on this army is going to be insane. I don't know, Kev. Yeah, that's the thing. ZEST was so dead 15 minutes ago. Like, even though the roaches didn't kill him, they seriously put him into such a bad spot that you could have really just dived in with the next wave of Hydralisks. But here we go. Zest's just going to feel like he can dive right on top of this. That carrot count is way too scary. The Hydralisk completely out of position as well. The Lurkers not going to unburrow just yet. I mean, good for him. He got that. He got that one base, but no. Yep. I guess Ragnarok just wanted to wait until Republic of Games so that we could go straight into some more StarCraft 2. But still, he probably threw this pretty hard. Yeah, I mean, it's good to practice the late games, Tushi, but I mean, when money's on the line, I would say that it's less about practicing this stage of the game and it's more about losing at this point. ZEST, I was saying that was pretty dead, is now in a fantastic position. It's going to get a couple of good yoinks, however, so the Corruptor is going to help bring it back just a slightly, but there's still Storm underneath this. And yeah, those Lurkers just really immobile versus this air army. I feel like you got to start trading those out, maybe just start sieging up this position. Look at that. We've got a bunch of probes being traded out. We've got this base going to be coming up here. I mean, to his credit, he is taking the bases on Zest's side of the map, but he's just not able to really effectively hold them. Let's look at that. We're even going to have Tempests on the way. Couple of good storms right there. Long distance mining. Not really too much else to say right now. Just powering himself up. Good feedback right there. Gonna take away some of that energy, kill that Viper off a little bit quicker. And then from here, he's kind of got to trade out some of these ground units. Maybe get rid of a couple of those Lurkers just because they're not going to be as effective right now. But you're going to have to, honestly, you're going to have to do something soon. He's helping Inu stay in Trovo 500. Okay. the Corruptor is going to be caught right now. One good yoink, but he's not able to finish it off. I think most of the Vipers have actually fallen here. Yeah, he's gonna have to push this position. One big storm right there, gonna be cleaning up a little bit more of this lurker health, and he's gonna be able to slowly get in here. But there's just too many cannons, too many shield batteries, as the excuse me, high-tech army from ZEST is gonna be moving in once again. Here we go. Got a lot of fungal growth here. Gonna need to dive on top of this from all locations. Storms gonna whiff on the Corruptors, just making sure that they do stay back. That's a bunch of changelings, not attacking units. And just once again gonna be able to clean up this position. He's going for Broodlords. That's a ton of Broodlords. But are they really the right call, as there's barely anything on the ground? I think if anything, trade out... Yeah, trade out some of the lurkers a bit. Here we go. Once again, ZEST is going to be able to clean up this location, and that's going to give him a little bit of leverage towards the tech structures of Ragnarok. Look at that. He's not even, like, he didn't even sync up his shots, unfortunately. That's enough Corruptors to one-shot, but wasn't able to do it. The lurkers in the bottom gonna be able to not even take down that last Archon right there. Fungal growth gonna help out quite a bit, and Parasitic Bomb is actually able to clean a lot of this up. The Corruptors diving right on top of it, and it looks like Ragnarok might just barely have enough to finally end this. As those Corruptors get right on top of everything. That is the army of ZEST dead. He is below 100 supply, and now with the Broodlords can start to kind of bully this location. I think we have finally seen the light at the end of the tunnel here. Both of these players have lost like a lot in this game. Like, take a look at the units lost tab here. It's 39 to 33. I mean, from this point, Broodlords really just need to start getting in there and start doing some work. Voidray is gonna have to be recalled here, but the Broodlords a little bit further back than they'd like to be. Excuse me. Sorry for that. Finally, Broodlord's able to clean up this location. It's not really that important considering there's no gas, there's no mining happening here. ZEST only on this one base up here. That's the crux of his mining. I mean, ZEST is definitely dead at this point. I hope. Well, I don't hope, but he's kind of writing on the wall here. He's been continuously down below 100 supply, and although RAGNAROK sending a lot of his army home to defend, actually, looks like he F2'd it a little bit. I mean, it's kind of just a matter of when does ZEST tap out. You know, he's still fighting it pretty hard. He wants that first prize rather than the Constellation second prize. And we do still have some small run-bys right here, trying to get himself back into this game. But at this point, RAGNAROK, just dive on top. Just dive on top. You've got this game in the bag. And here we go. One storm, not going to get too much damage done. And there you have it. After 30 minutes.